Okay, Zach, we're back again talking the Star War.
Yes.
The Star War. This time we're going a little different though. We're doing something that hadn't been really done in the Star War before. Um, and Disney decided, hey, we've got this property. Let's do a bunch of movies in this universe, which on paper sounds like a really, really good idea. And in fact, I was really excited for this movie when I first heard about it. The trailers and stuff all looked pretty good for it.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
and then the actual movie came out, and I saw it.
Yeah.
And I didn't see it. I didn't. I don't remember if I saw opening weekend or if it was like a weekend after or something. But I remember hearing some person being telling me, "Oh man, this is the best movie since The Empire Strikes Back,"
Hmm.
and I was like, "Whoa!" Me and my foolhardiness should not have trusted this person who I didn't really know that well. It was one of my. Well, I won't go into details about it, but I should have known better about this person telling me that I didn't really know that well. Because then when I went to the movie and I started watching it, about halfway
Uh-huh.
through it, I was very, very confused.
Okay.
Because I was like, why don't I like this movie? I feel like I should really
Yeah.
be liking this movie a lot, but I don't.
Hmm. So
I don't
you
really
you
care
have
very much for Rogue One.
you have a generally negative opinion of this movie, yeah.
I do not. I'm not very fond of this movie.
I have a
In
generally
fact, you could say
positive
this.
view.
In fact, you could say this is probably the first Star Wars movie that I don't like to watch.
Yo.
And I actually enjoy watching the prequels for all their
Well, yeah.
whatever they are. The second time I've seen this movie was when we watched it for this review. I did not watch it after I saw it in theaters. I had absolutely no desire to see it again.
Mhm.
And I probably wouldn't have
Damn.
if I hadn't if we weren't doing this. So yeah, I don't really like this movie very much. But
Tell me how you really
I
feel.
don't mean to. This is going to be. So I think this will be an interesting discussion. I don't mean to be a complete naysayer because I know I have a tendency to be able to do so. But
Hmm.
tell us, me and the listeners, the watchers, the viewers, our humble audience,
Yes.
why you enjoy this movie?
Look, I see the flaw.
Oh, having to justify yourself already. All right, look.
No, I see the flaws, and I have a feeling of what you're gonna bring up for sure. But I think the flaws, almost in a way, complement the movie, and the fact that it's meant to be a standalone story. It's meant to be these people we don't know, and it's a story that didn't need to be told, quote unquote. But I think that's the beauty of it. Is it's almost like a war movie in a sense, and it's very different than traditional Star Wars movies, just tonally and how it's approached. But I also have a greater appreciation for, maybe like too much of an appreciation for movies that have like unconventional endings. It's not like a perfect happy ending. Like there's like the glimmer of hope at the end of this movie, which is cool, but they also have, it's pretty much a self-contained tragedy in a movie where like literally all the characters you get to know end up dying.
Do we get to know them though?
All right, well, no, see, yeah, I mean
That's my problem. That's my main problem with this movie.
but
I don't like
but
any of the characters.
you don't like any of them.
Not really. I mean, the two characters that I like the most are K2SO because he actually has a character arc in the movie,
Hmm.
and Chirrut because he's just Donnie Yen saying random stuff about the Force and doing cool kung
And one
fu
with the
stuff.
Force, the Force is with me. Or-
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I
Well,
mean,
I should say that's one of my main problems with the movie. I have another one that's as large, and that's without the Star Wars universe, this movie would not be beloved at all.
yeah,
This movie cannot stand
Okay.
on its own and its own merits. So the
Yeah.
idea of this being a standalone film
hmm
doesn't really make very much sense to me because it doesn't stand alone. It is completely reliant on the whole universe. Whereas I could say that because of the different beats and things and all the different films that we watched so far, a lot of them stand on their own merits. Sure, there are going to be like story bits and things that are reliant on the previous films, but they still stand alone as a fun adventure along with these characters that you get to know, a sci-fi adventure film. This isn't really, like you said, it's a war film. It's not really a sci-fi adventure film, and that's fine. Um, but I don't think that the movie works well. Okay, so in any war movie, so say take Saving Private Ryan, one of the best war movies ever made, or Glory. We get to care about the characters that we see on film. We spend a lot of time with them, getting to know them. This movie starts with arguably the most compelling and underdeveloped character getting whisked away and taken away from us. We see Mads Mikkelsen in 3 scenes in this movie, and we lose out on all of the character development that turned his sweet little hopeful daughter into a complete and just like devoid of joy and happy and everything that would make anyone a likable character, into a jaded and, you know, miserable person. Until the movie decides all of a sudden that no, she has this connection with her father, so she's going to completely switch sides halfway through the movie, almost unprompted. I don't buy it. I don't like it. It's too over the top sappy. Like when all of a sudden this character that we've seen that's been so jaded throughout this whole movie, after the Alliance tries to assassinate her father, she finds out that the Rebel Alliance was going to kill her dad. She then is like, I'm gonna help all you people now, because for some reason, and it's like, and she starts doing this like rousing speech, and Jimmy Smits is there, and he's like, I need to tell Leia about this, and it's just like it's so. It's frustrating because I want to like this movie. I really do. But there's just nothing in it that grabs me. I will say, however, to say something positive about this movie, I don't want to be a complete naysayer. This is probably my favorite Star Wars movie visually. This movie is beautiful to look at.
Yeah.
I should probably, if I rewatch this, I should probably just turn the sound off and just not care about anything else, because watching this movie, except for the weird, creepy CG characters, the Grand Moff Tarkin and not Carrie Fisher, I think that this movie just looks so good. It looks gritty. It looks run down. It looks beaten, but it looks beautiful. It's like it looks like A New Hope made in 2016, and that's what I wanted from this movie, and it delivers on that regard, absolutely.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah. So in regards to your first point,
okay, I will rebut your rebuttal.
Way back when you said you were talking about how it's reliant. It's not a standalone film because it's reliant on the Star Wars universe.
Very much so.
Yeah, I mean it's true because it's called Rogue One, a Star Wars story, and it's kind of reliant on the fact, and I think that's.
But the problem is that it doesn't stand on its own merits as a film. The characters aren't likable. The plot is broad, and because we don't care about the characters, it's a plot that we don't really connect to, because we don't really connect to the characters' plights, or plight. So think about it. If you strip Star Wars away from this, the movie is about a group of people who steal the plans to destroy the big super weapon that's been destroying everything, and that's how the movie ends. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Well, I don't think
so. Okay, what's the resolution with the characters? We don't have any because they all died, except for the apparently the someone gets away that we don't really know who she is, because she's just in here to call back to A New Hope.
Maybe I used the word standalone incorrectly. I'm saying it's like one movie is not part of a greater, like a trilogy. You know, it's just
right.
Is by itself. But obviously, like to enjoy this movie is very reliant on the fact that it's a part, and especially the payoff at the end where you see Princess Leia. You know, it's like the whole. It shows how much has happened within like a moment that easily could not have even be seen. You know, like you go into A New Hope and you don't know the backstory on how all that.
How she got the plans
Yeah.
and why she's broad faced lying to Darth Vader, who was like, she's like, no, we're on a diplomatic mission, and when Darth Vader could just be like, we literally just saw your shuttle leave. We know you have the plans. Her statement is completely cheapened, and it's just a dumb lie. No, we're on a diplomatic mission. I swear. It's like you were just escaping from that planet that just got blown up. What are you talking about? I don't like that. I mean, see, you could have done that and not make it that stupid. Because like that was just, and the handling of Darth Vader in this movie is also just the worst.
Why is that? What do you mean?
Okay, so Darth Vader is probably the Emperor's most valuable asset.
Mm-hmm.
So he should. So why would the Emperor have him build him a castle on the planet to constantly remind him of the fact that his entire family is gone, making him bitter and obviously want to like that wouldn't make him reliant on the Emperor. That would just make him want to scheme against the Emperor, which is not what the Emperor wants. Also, there's the chance that maybe the facilities will malfunction or whatever, like exactly what happened in Episode 3, and that stuff will happen in that. Oh, whoops! Darth Vader died because he was resting in that Bacta container for some reason, which could easily be on a Star Destroyer, which it is in Episode 5. So there's that. There's him, the stupid quippy one-liners. I hope you don't choke on your ambition.
Aspirations.
Choke on your aspirations. That's dumb. It's not funny. It's just stupid.
Yeah.
And it's like the character is just he's like in the context of this movie he's just this random thug in a Halloween costume basically.
But it's not the context. In the context
of the Star Wars universe, he's Darth Vader, but he's basically been completely cheapened to the point of like memeality at this point, memeability in Star Wars. I don't need to keep seeing Darth Vader in everything, and that's why that was.
It's fan service. It's not. I wouldn't call it a meme.
Yes, and that's all this movie is.
Well, yeah,
and that's my problem with it. You strip the fan service away, the random guys from the cantina on the planet that gets blown up. I don't know how they got off. Every ship, the AT-STs. Why are the AT-STs blown? Like, the AT-STs are not precision destruction machines. They're used in the Battle of Hoth to just obliterate the rebel base on Hoth. You're telling me that the guys on the planet Scarif are like, yeah, send the AT-STs to blast our own facilities, scorch them to hell. It exists only because we know what those things are. Mm-hmm. You're telling me that there wasn't any original ships that we didn't see? Like this is an opportunity to flex some really cool, interesting muscles of, oh, this is a new facility that we've never seen before in the Empire. Maybe they've got new, like, different ships and stuff, or things on their planetary base. Just no, it's just everything we've seen before. Everything.
I mean,
there's nothing really.
We've never seen anyone like K2SO.
That's true, and that's why I like him a lot. He's great. K2SO is great.
And I mean, like I have a hard time picking apart like what's new and what's old, but I mean, I feel like there's a lot in the background, at least, of like, walking amongst whatever. there's some new stuff. I feel like I saw new stuff around, but I just don't have the mind to pick it out.
Well, that's probably good. Unfortunately, when you grow up in a very detail oriented, with two detail oriented brothers who point stuff out like that to you when you're growing up, you have a hard time not recognizing stuff like that, particularly when you've watched these movies growing up over and over again. Remember, I've seen Empire Strikes Back like probably close to 100 times.
Mm-hmm. I've seen it like 2-3 times.
Yeah. So maybe it's a good thing. Maybe it works a little better for you, but there's just so much I want to like about this movie, but I just don't.
Did you not like Darth Vader?
Because I can't care.
Did you not like Darth Vader in the end in the whole hallway little sequence there? Because I really like that.
No, I hate that.
I feel like
All you needed was him to turn the lightsaber on. You didn't need the orgasm inducing for all the fanboys in the audience. Uh, Him just murdering everyone in the hallway just ingloriously.
hmm
Like, why didn't okay, if he's gonna be that guy, the guy that we don't really see till episode 5, why wasn't he like that when he came on board that frigate, or that not the frigate, the blockade runner in the beginning of the movie? It's like trying to be slavishly consistent, but then it mucks it up to a point where it's just it's so over the top that it's just groan inducing.
Okay. Well, I
You know,
feel
if he just gone through and just sliced him down, but it's no, he's gonna like choke the guy and he's gonna slash him, but he's going back and he has to just kill every single one of them. While like the choir in the background is going, oh, and it's just like,
damn,
it's just
dude.
like go
So
away.
maybe I don't have my finger on the pulse of the Star Wars fans enough, but I feel like I've heard
Oh no,
positive things about.
I think I'm in the minority on this one, with the Star Wars fan base. I think this film is slightly divisive, but it's most people I talk to adore this movie, and I just don't get it.
Yeah, and I
I
feel like
just
that.
don't
Well, I
get
feel like that part in particular. I feel like I've heard nothing
Yeah.
but good things about.
Oh yeah,
See-
no, that's everybody just like the whole audience just like, you know, clean up on aisle on the whole place because all the men just
I'm
ejaculating everywhere. You know, it's just
I
like,
didn't ejaculate.
well, that's good.
I'll say
I'm
that
glad.
much.
Well, that's good.
That doesn't mean I can't
I'd be a
appreciate
little
it.
concerned. I don't know if we could do this podcast anymore. I don't know if we could continue doing this if you did.
It doesn't mean I can't appreciate it though. And I mean,
I just don't think there's really anything to appreciate about it.
damn. Well, I feel like it's just. It literally is the fact that it's just like, look how badass Darth Vader is, but sometimes that's all you need. You know, it doesn't have to be that.
I like fan service, but the problem is that the movie doesn't have anything else, and when that's all there is, it feels cheap, and I feel like
I mean,
I feel cheap.
they threw it in at the end. It's like it
Yeah,
wasn't
they,
like
they
it wasn't
threw
like
it in because of reshoots, because the movie didn't stand enough of its own on its own merits. That's
okay.
actually true. Most of the Darth Vader scenes were added in after initial audiences hated the movie, or didn't, or should I say, maybe they didn't hate it, but it wasn't garnering the reactions, the responses that
Well, that's good.
early. I don't know if it was test audiences or if it was editors when they were going through it, or just like, ooh, I don't know.
That's good. I'm glad they added it, made it better.
I don't.
I like the whole sequence. I like the fact that it's like.
Well, I'm glad. I'm glad you got something out of it, but I hate it.
You really see how many people like really put their life on the line just to get these plants. Like to the very end, he's like, take these freaking plants. I'm gonna die. I'm
Take
gonna.
the plans, man.
I'm getting Darth
Take
Vader.
the plans.
I'm getting Darth Vader here.
I'm
You know?
getting Vadered. Yeah.
It's the
Well, he
bitter,
does.
to the bitter end.
Sure
It's
does.
like this close to just all being for naught. You know, it's like this close, and they all like they really thread. The whole thing is about like threading this needle and impossible odds, and it's like sometimes the odds catch up to you, and then it's like you actually see the consequence of people dying for the cause. It's not like, oh, we beat the odds and we're all good now, we all survived. It's like,
Yeah.
no, this is what needed to happen in order for Star Wars as we know it to happen.
I will say, scenes that were filmed very effectively, even though I don't really feel anything for the characters because they don't develop them nearly enough. That's my whole problem. I just feel like if they had been able to develop the characters more, if the script had been fleshed out more to make, I don't know, you could build up Mads Mikkelsen's character. You don't really even understand exactly why he's doing it. I mean, I guess it's because they're threatening to kill his family or whatever, but then they do it anyways. So why does he help them really anyway? But or try to develop. We don't really see Jyn Erso grow as a character. It just happens somewhere. It just kind of magically happens. And the same sort of thing with
Cassian Andor.
Yeah, that whatever his name is.
This movie has the most Star Wars-y names ever.
It does.
Saw Gerrera, Mon Mothma.
Mon Mothma was in. Mon Mothma was in the original trilogy.
Galen Erso, Jyn Erso, Chirrut Baze,
Chirrut Imwe.
Bodhi. Yeah.
I don't know who Bodhi. Who's Bodhi?
Bodhi's the freaking pilot.
That's his name?
Yeah. I was taking notes because I was
Okay.
like, I need to
Yeah,
remember
because
these.
I don't remember his name. I don't know who that is. Um,
Bodhi, you know.
Beauty's fault, dude.
Cassian Andor's a good name.
I will agree. I like the name. I just wish I liked him as a character because he's just a
Well,
joyless guy who's just like, you don't know how hard it's
yeah.
been. You don't know. You haven't been in this fight like me. And I was like, wait a minute, isn't Jyn Erso been in this fight since she was a little kid too? Hasn't she been like miserable with like Saw Gerrera? Isn't that why she's also a joyless person? So like, I don't know where you get off being like, you don't know what it's like.
They never
It's rough. I have to kill people.
they never kiss in this movie, right?
No,
'Cause
I
I
actually kind
didn't
of like
want,
that.
yeah, I didn't want that to happen. I was
I,
waiting.
I,
Every
I
other
do
scene,
like.
it looked like it could happen.
I do like, well, especially towards the end where they're like this close in the elevator when they're like going to
Yeah,
the beach. They're
yeah,
like this close to each other. I was like,
he consistently got close, like it was
I
on
guess
purpose.
he's just maybe he's really, really, really nearsighted.
But yeah,
Yeah.
I was glad. I was expecting like at the end, even though I couldn't remember. It was the second time watching. I was expecting at the end for when they're in that embrace, where it's like just a beautiful kiss as the explosion comes their way
No, but I'm sorry, but I honestly laugh. Like, I
at the
think it
end.
was filmed very effectively.
The
I
ending.
think the death scenes, the one with Chirrut and their death scene were filmed very effectively.
Hmm.
But I have to admit, because I just don't feel anything for the characters, I laughed. And he was like, "Your father would have been proud." When he like takes her hand at the end, I was just like,
I,
it was I don't know.
takes a lot for me to laugh when someone dies, but
Yeah, yeah, same. Well,
I,
yeah, like episode two. Well, no, I wasn't because they were dying. I didn't laugh when they died. That was fine. Like that was fine.
I
It was
failed
just
you,
that
my
line.
queen.
No, no, no. It was the
Yeah.
no. It was the oh. There wasn't any danger at all. Explosion.
Yeah. Well, see, because I appreciated the end there, because it was like they're gonna force the romance story in here, and it turned out to be like not really. It's like the
It's just like they respect each other or something like that.
yeah. I mean, he was getting up in her face, like trying to get
Maybe
something going.
he wanted that, and she was just like no.
But in even just the embrace makes sense at the end because it was like they had no one else, so you would do that with whoever's there. So,
Yeah, pretty
but I
much.
was expecting a passionate kiss as it was just the explosion. Ah, beautiful.
That was an explosive kiss.
So I did find it when Chirrut died and Baze is like holding him. Did he shoot the guys that killed him before that? I was trying to. I mean, I looked away and it was like he's just holding him. I'm like, why are you not getting shot?
Yeah, I think he did.
It's like I guess
think
I
he
missed it. I was like, what's going?
I'm trying to remember. I'm pretty sure he did. Yeah.
Just like
See,
let him have a
I
moment.
think that was done. I think that was done fairly effectively too. I like that
Mhm.
scene.
But yeah, to your point, I mean, they're definitely underdeveloped, and I found it some weird parts where like Baze says to Jyn or so, and Porny's like, "Good luck, little sister," and I'm like, "What? Since when are you that connected?"
Yeah, they're like that. They're like
It's
immediately
brother
connected,
and sister bond.
brother and sister, and then like
Baze and Jyn or so, the
stuff
classic.
like "May the Force be with us." I didn't like all the like throwing out to the Force thing, and it
You
was
know,
like
the Force talk.
no, it was like way too much of that. Like it was like
Well,
didn't the Jedi like all die? Didn't they fail? Did they do a horrible job of keeping the peace? And now we're still gonna be like, oh, the Jedi. May the Force be with us. I mean, that's why I liked the dynamic between Chirrut and his little friend, because his friend is like, I don't believe in the Force, and he's like, no, the Force is like a cool thing, man.
yeah. And then he starts reciting the line. After
Yeah, and then
his
he
friend
takes
died.
on the
And then he dies too.
yeah. Yeah.
I think that's like the interesting thing of it is like you have these people who like, no, he's dead, and then they just go and die a couple minutes later. It's like
That was
there's no time to mourn. It's just like we're all done.
K2SO's death though is the most effective in the whole movie. I think it's just so great. He has to buy time for them, like to the point where he's just like climb,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just like oh that tugs at your heartstrings, man.
Yeah.
It's like I don't like this movie, and I still like that. I still love how effective that is. That gets me. I love that, but I wish there was more of that. You know.
And I
So
found
I
like
want, like I said, I want to like this movie. I really do.
And
But
some of the stuff is a little over the top. Like, I found the Galen's death to be a little dramatic, and it's kind of like the typical like death scene, like holding him in his arms, and like it's after she wakes up from being like exploded, and that's like the classic. Oh, where is he? And then he's dying. And he's like, I have so much to tell you. Dies.
But it does. Yeah.
But I mean, maybe I'm a bit contradictory because I mean, I did not like Suicide Squad for the same reason, where they have a ton of underdeveloped characters. But I felt like overall, I really liked the.
Now, could it be though that like that the visual stuff, the fan service, does still add to your experience enough to the point where you enjoy the movie?
Mm-hmm.
Because like if you, I saw a post recently that basically sums up my reaction to the movie. If you like this movie for superficial reasons, that's fine. Go ahead and like it. I know plenty of people that do. I know people that also will defend the movie as like a grand masterpiece of an action movie, which I'm like, have you seen Mad Max? Very different. Mad Max Fury Road is a very different movie from this one, and that is the one that I would hold up as a masterpiece of an action film. But
I mean, a little bit, but I like how the story overall. I mean, like comparing it to Suicide Squad, which is like two.
That movie's just a mess, though.
Two ensemble casts, basically. Like you got a squad together of like people you didn't really know, you don't know much about, and I think just Rogue One does it way better, where you have a good conclusion to the story and everything.
Is it hard to do it? Is it hard to do it better than Suicide Squad?
You haven't even seen
Suicide
Squad.
The movie's a mess.
You haven't seen it.
Stay
hating.
That's kind of true. I haven't seen the whole thing, so.
So I mean, I just love. I'm partial to movies that are willing to have a little bit of unconventional ending. I mean, obviously, it had to end.
But it kind of did have a conventional ending, to some extent. I mean, yeah, all our heroes died.
All the heroes died.
But then we get all the Star Wars stuff dumped in. I think, to me, it would have been like the way the movie should have ended. You don't need Darth Vader, and you don't need.
That's part of the movie.
No, you don't need Darth Vader there, and you don't need to see Carrie Fisher's face. We did not need to see that because it looks terrifying. and like this is the first time my parents saw the movie.
Yeah.
They were just like, ugh. Neither of them liked that. In fact, neither of them really cared very much for this movie.
They did not like it.
I think they kind of liked it, but they didn't like that.
I like the sentiment of it. If they were able to somehow have actual Carrie Fisher there, like, then it would be great. But
all you really needed for that scene was to just have her basically like have the guy come in, and then like have her maybe take it off, and you just see the cinnamon buns. I mean, you see, even when you see her back, you know who it is. And just have like the cinnamon buns, and just have him like hand it to her. And then she could even say the line, and just like look up or whatever, and talk about like, oh, it's Hope or whatever. We don't need to see that abomination of a face, and because it's just so bad. It just looks just terrible. And I will say this: watching it again, I was less creeped out by the CG face of Grand Moff Tarkin. But I still hate the fact that they did that, because why didn't you just get the actor who played him in Episode 3, who is still alive and is still acting, and looks literally just like him? You could have gotten him. He looks exactly like him.
I think they wanted to flex their computer-generated muscles.
But the thing is that doesn't really... I mean, it looks less bad than I remember, but it still doesn't look good. Like, I remember in theaters thinking, oh, that's cool, they have him there, and it's like, CG face, that looks pretty good, because it was kind of like a darkly lit scene, the first one he's in, you don't really see his face very much, and he kept showing up, and I kept being like, no, stop, it's worn off, doesn't look good, stop doing it, and then they kept bringing him back.
I think having Leia at the end is a nice moment. Like, I agree, you don't need to see her face. But it is a nice way. It's like, oh wow, that's the first Star Wars.
It
came full circle. But
yeah.
Darth Vader definitely needed to be there. It was a great scene. One of the best parts of the movie. Don't at me.
Okay, what does that say about the rest of the movie then? If that's the best part of the movie.
One of the best parts of the movie.
My favorite part of the movie is the big space battle, because of all the explosions. But honestly, that's no, like
Yeah.
honestly, that the big space battle is amazing. I love that. It's great. They even used archive footage of the guy from A New Hope, the Red Leader.
Mm.
They used archive footage of him. He just shows up and he's like, "Red Leader here." I mean, he
Yeah.
basically just says the line from A New Hope. So
Okay. Yeah. Um, I mean, I really like all the
yeah,
like the turret being badass scenes too. I'm down for those.
Johnny Yen being doing kung fu stuff.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, there's fan service, but I mean, you
And that's
can't.
all there is.
I don't think you can
See,
fault a
because
movie.
well, the thing
You
is,
can't fault
the
a
thing is,
Star Wars movie for the Darth Vader scene being the best scene.
the but he's not even part of the movie. The
But it
movie's not
was,
about him at all. Krennic is the villain of the film.
yeah, but it ties in. It's like, it's so nice.
It doesn't need to tie
It's
in.
nice to see him.
It ties in without him. You don't need to see him. And I hate the fact that he has
You
a
don't,
castle.
you don't need to see anything in Star Wars. You didn't need to see freaking Qui-Gon Jinn fight Darth Maul, but you saw it. Darth Maul could have just walked out and been
It's
like,
that
I killed
no,
him.
the argument you can't make an argument about another movie
You
here.
can. It's another Star Wars movie. You don't
You
need to
did
see anything. It's all
well,
optional.
you did have to have the payoff of the Sith fighting the Jedi and for the
No,
climax of that movie to make sense.
no,
You don't need Darth Vader at the end of this movie
you don't.
because
But
no,
it was
but we'll throw
nice.
him in because we need to have people clap at the end of the movie.
It was great. It was great in the darkness. You just see the lightsaber.
Yeah,
It's
that's all you
epic.
needed. You didn't need him killing
It's epic.
everyone.
I
In
mean,
fact, you didn't need him. And like I said, you didn't need him at all.
well,
He could have not been in there, and you would have gotten
I beg to
basically the
differ.
same thing.
I beg to defer
Okay.
for my
Who are
Star
you?
Wars
Who are you?
fans.
Who are you? Well,
Uh,
well, we all know the fans could be wrong.
well, you are a Star Wars fan, so
I am.
I'll give you that.
Yeah,
All right.
I can be wrong. Not on this.
I'm one with the Force. The Force is with me. What would you
Uh,
give this movie out of 10?
Kudos also to Michael
Oh.
Giacchino for making a very Star
Who's that?
Warsy sounding soundtrack.
Oh,
But that's
Who did
all I'll
he
say
say?
about it. It's not really that impressive or interesting.
who directed
It
this
just
movie?
sounds Star Warsy. I don't really remember. The guy who directed it, or the guy who wrote it, is the guy in the behind the scenes of Episode 2 who has this big computer on like a coffee table. Apparently George Lucas didn't want to like get up and go to the computer room, so they brought the computer to show him how the CG Yoda was doing. So he was like the computer graphics guy that did the CG graphics thing with Yoda.
Hmm.
And I'm not kidding. This has been a that movie was like a passion project of his for like a really long time.
Okay.
Too bad nobody else you know wrote it. So anyway, what would I give this movie? It's really tough, honestly, because I like the superficial stuff of this movie is cool. I don't like the Darth Vader stuff, but I like basically everything else. I love the look of this movie. The movie's shot beautifully. The score is serviceable. It's no John Williams score, but he did his best making it sound like a John Williams score. You go first. You have a more positive. No, I'll go first since I have the negative score. We'll leave with a positive on this. It doesn't really deserve it, but we'll leave with a positive.
Damn. Stay mad. Stay mad.
I think I'm gonna give this movie a
Yikes.
I think I'm gonna give it a 4.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
No,
though.
you know what? I'll be kinder to it. I'll give it
No,
I'll give it a
alright.
5.
No, do your own. Give it
I'll give it a
whatever
5.
score you want.
Okay, I'll give it a 4 then. It's a 4.
Mhm.
May the force be with you.
4 out of 10.
Honestly, I like
Okay.
that's just yeah. I mean, like,
That's lower.
there's a lot of
than-
merits
what?
to the film.
Wait, what did you give Attack of the Clones?
A 4.5.
Oh God,
No,
that's not right, my dude.
like I said,
Alright.
I don't care to watch this movie very many more times in my life, if ever.
Attack of the Clones, you're not watching it as a quality standalone film that doesn't need to be Star Wars. Yeah. I
No,
think you can
not
be
really.
You can be
No,
more
I'm
critical.
gonna put Rogue One in my regular Star Wars rotation.
All right. Well, the connection is breaking. I need to end this quickly. I give this movie a 7.5 out of 10. It's what it deserves.
What's the average of that?
The average of that is going to be a nice round
It's a 5.75.
5.75.
I'm bringing that average way down.
All right, so I give it a 4. You gave it a 4.
You
I
don't
give
give
it a
it a 4.
7.5. So that gives us a Tarqaron score of 5.75.
If we couldn't have more disparate
Right.
reactions to this movie, am I right?
That's the biggest disparity we've had in
Yeah.
score.
I mean, I don't think I think I'm
You're the wrong side of history, and you admit it.
probably,
All
but
right.
you know what? I'm sticking by it. I don't really care for this movie very much. I don't see what other people see in it, and that's fine. I'm glad people enjoy it. I wish I did, honestly. I wish I could give it a 7.5, but I just can't.
Look, I think can't. I can hear
I
you
don't.
on that, but I can't hear you on giving it a lower score than Attack of the Clones, than Phantom Menace. It doesn't.
Well, I was
I
about
don't
to
buy
give it a
that.
5, and then you said no. Give it that score.
No, give it what you want. I said you're just gonna give it 5 because Darth Vader was in it. All right,
No, I'll
you
give it a
know
5. All right, I'll boost it up. I'll boost
No,
up the. I'll
you
give it a little bit of a curve
can't
because
curve now. It's too
shit,
late.
no, it's not. No, it's not. I
But
can do
now
what I
the
want.
score is already set. It's on the screen. 5.75. What's gonna happen to it?
Oh, slash that score. You can slash that score and give it. Hold on.
A 5. You give it a 5. I give it a 7.5. So it's 6.25.
6.25. There you go. That's more like it. That gives it a little bit better score.
What
I mean,
was
okay,
our-
so because the visual, like I said, I was saying really nice stuff about the visuals of the movie because I do really like those a lot. So that'll boost the movie up.
yeah.
There, you happy?
I think Attack the
I
Clones
did my
isn't
bit
even
for
close.
King and Country, even though I don't want to watch this movie ever again.
But Attack of the Clones is a true gem. Do we watch?
No, it's not.
Yeah.
That movie's painful to watch
Okay.
too.
All right. Well, that's it. See you a day or two from now, where we'll talk about The Last Jedi. Okay.
My other favorite Star Wars
All
movie.
right. There you go.